Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Game Trade Media. I'm your host, Big Rick, here at the Game Trade Media Studios in Timonium, Maryland. And I've got some special guests with me today. We have Gwen and Brendan from Fantasy Flight Asmodee, right?
Correct.
Yep.
They're here to talk about a cool new game, Runewars miniatures game. So I saw this. I've already painted some of this live, but what can you tell me about what this is all about? Because I didn't really get into the game itself. I was like, I want the miniatures. I want to paint them. So,
Well, what we have, Rick, is we have a brand new game from Fantasy Flight with miniatures. So this is going to be the core game for a brand new product line for us. So what we wanted to do today is we just wanted to take a look at unboxing it and show everybody what's in the box, how they can use what's in the box,
Okay.
and basically how accessible this is and how familiar it's going to be to customers that have already participated in Fantasy Flight games and want to start miniatures or continue to play
Nice.
Fantasy Flight games.
well, one of the things when I opened it up yesterday for the painting video is there's a lot of stuff in here. So we probably should get right to it, yeah?
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So this is what it's going to look like when you guys open it up and get it out of the box. What you see in front of us is everything in the box already kind of ready to go. But we want to show you what it's going to look like when you pop it out. So we've got miniatures, you got your rule books, you've got a lore book, I believe, as well.
That's correct.
Because there's a lore behind this whole game as far as it's part of the Runebound universe.
Yeah, it's set in Terranoth, which is the same as Runebound and Descent.
Okay.
So people have played that before will be familiar with all of the lore.
Okay, and there's two factions here. You have the warriors in the blue armor. What are they called?
Those are the Deccan Empire.
Okay.
Traditional human army that uses a lot of rune magic. So the big centerpiece model for them is the rune golem that
Okay.
comes in the box set. Gwen has actually shown us how
Here, let's
easy it
go
is.
ahead and break real quick to
Yeah.
that. Right now, Gwen is pulling out what is the rune golem. This is what it's going to look like, all said and done, complete. Right here, we can show it in the overhead here. What it's going to look like right there.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful. Now, let's get your hands in here,
So-
Gwen.
So they just snap together.
Okay.
That.
Mm-hmm.
Move
That's right. There is a skirt, right?
Yeah, there's a skirt too.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually called a skirt. It just looks like a skirt. It could be, I don't know, a
Loincloth?
tabard,
Yeah, a tabard.
or a
yeah,
loincloth.
and that's him.
And that's what he looks like, and he has his own little base,
Yep,
right?
He has a base. What?
So you are going to want to use some glue, but you don't necessarily have to on a lot of these miniatures, I noticed.
Yeah,
when
you
I was
don't
putting them
have
together.
to, but if you want to just make sure that they stay together, you can use some super glue.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
That's him.
So there we go, and that's what it's going to look like again when it's all said and done. Putting together, you just prime it, paint it, and go to work.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
Beautiful.
fully ready to play with right now as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, oh yeah. But no real gamer brings an army to the board without having paints applied.
Painted ones do better.
It really helps you with the immersion. Now, in total, how many miniatures are you going to be getting in this box?
48, I believe.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And then I see there's a lot of other stuff. We've got tokens, we've got cards, the bases, as you can see, are in the package, which is really nice. And one of the things you guys mentioned before we sat down is each of these miniatures are pre-bagged. Like these two that are the same are pre-bagged with all their pieces, so you don't have to break them off anything. You know, they're beautiful.
All of the Deccan Empire models are in this specific
Oh, in this
large
bag. Okay.
So, and then each one of those is bagged like to like. So all of the skeletons that are the same model are in the same bag. So when you pull them apart, you open up that bag,
Okay.
they all go together the same way.
Nice. And then we also pulled out this here, which is all the other bits and pieces that you have to put together. There's some terrain pieces that are also out on the board out there. I don't think we need to break this down so much because it's all out here already.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and show us what we've got going on here then.
Excellent.
Sure.
So we have the board game set up now, and it's showing both. What was the name of those guys again? There's so many cues
So
in
the
them.
Deccan Empire.
All right, Deccan and the
The
Vicar.
Vicar.
Yeah.
Vicar. All right, so and this is basically what it would look like, and everything that I see here is all you need to play, and it's all in the box.
Yep.
So it's all self-contained.
Yep.
Out of the box, ready to play.
Correct. So customers that are familiar with Fantasy Flight games will be able to start playing Runewars in the same amount of time they would normally take to play a board game, and they don't need to make any additional purchases. The box will get them all of the miniatures they see here. The grass mat is available separately.
Okay. Now, also, I've already seen on your guys' website, fantasyflightgames.com. If you guys go check that out, there's expansions already announced that are just more units to add into this, right? So
Yes.
this can be a game that grows with as a collection for any, anybody that plays a tabletop miniatures game is going to be like, I need more. So, okay. And this drops April 13th?
April
Yes.
13th is
Okay.
the release date in stores worldwide.
Nice. So, tell me about how this plays.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to Gwen.
Yeah, so people might be familiar with the maneuver dials, but at the start of each turn, people will choose what maneuver they want to do. If they want to move forward, they would just pick to go forward. And they can do a modifier along with that, so they could choose to turn, which would slow them down a little bit.
Okay.
If they want to move in and attack, they can charge. So if you run into somebody while charging, you'll also get to attack them as well.
Nice.
And then white would be free. So normally you'd have to match colors, but in this case they could say, I want an extra defense, and do that as well.
Nice.
So then once everybody sets dials, you just go in turns. The white number at top will be initiative, so that'll determine what order people are going to go in.
Okay.
And it'll go back and forth depending on if somebody is at initiative 5, they would go when you get to 5.
All right, it starts off at 1?
Yep,
and work
starts
its way
off
up?
at 1, moves up to,
Okay.
I believe, 8. So to complete this action, you just grab 3. So we'll do a charge. You put it down. And then you just slide on up.
All right.
And it'll lock in right there. And that would be
That's
how
your
you
move.
move 3. Yeah.
That seems pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, let's go right into that combat, because that's pretty much it. And I also see that there's cards behind each character. That is this like power-ups or special abilities?
Yeah, the cards will tell you the special ability. At the bottom, it'll tell you how many dice you get to roll. So this would be 2 white dice for
Okay.
him to attack right there.
Nice.
And then on the front, it'll tell you how much defense each character has and how much health they have.
Okay. So, and this is more like a leader character.
Yeah,
right?
this would be more of a leader.
Okay. Nice.
So
And then
he
you have
has
your
more abilities.
these are your infantry,
Mm-hmm.
everything. Okay. All right. Nice. Now I would really like to see 2 of these
So
characters.
do you want to see these 2 attack?
Yeah, I
Alright.
would really like to see how that would play out.
So if he moved forward, if these 2 were to engage, you would just lock them together
Okay.
to show that they're in combat. If he charged in and was the attacker, you just look at this
All right, 2
and
white
roll
dice.
2 dice. So in this case, he'd be doing 2 damage. Since the Rune Golem has 4 health or 4 defense, that would not do a
Nothing.
wound. Nothing would
Nothing.
happen. He does have some special abilities though. So since he is attacking, the attack is treated as having a surge ability, which would allow him to do any special moves that use surge.
Okay, so he has brutal 1 and steadfast. While attacking, your threat is increased by 1. Now, what does that mean?
So the way threat works is if you have multiple units lined up like this, they would have increased threat, which is going to add damage.
Okay.
So at this point, he would have threat 2 instead of threat 1. So instead of doing 2 damage, he's now going to do 4, which is enough to get through the defense.
Okay.
And this guy would be wounded.
No.
Ah.
That's awesome.
And the
Okay.
Rune Golem can take a total of 2
2
wounds
hits.
before
That's
he's
it.
removed from play.
Yeah. He has really good defense, but he
Just
only
cannot.
takes 2 hits to die.
Wow. That makes me sad because he's such a beast-looking miniature. But I get it. You can't have someone like that who looks like he just roll over all these guys. Like, why? I'm just going to play this guy. But for balance of play, I see it.
Well, and as you get in and you get into the rules, you cast runes at the beginning of every turn.
Okay.
And those runes determine different actions or allow you to do different things with your miniatures.
The Rune Golem, right here, he has a move, and he has a symbol next to the move. So for him, he can do a lower initiative move, and he'll move as many times as there are for blue runes on the board. So if there are
Okay.
2 out, he could move forward 2, and that would let him move earlier than what he can normally do.
Okay.
Um,
And what is the runes? Where are these
Yep.
the runes?
Yes,
Okay.
these are the runes. So at the beginning of every turn, the first player casts runes. So they would just hold them and throw them out, and that would be the runes that are out for the game
Okay.
or for the round.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would want more blue then for that guy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And as you recast those are going to open up different abilities and
Okay.
different game effects and really give you some extra tactical challenges. as you
Okay.
go
And
through.
the other tokens that are over there, you have the little red X's. That's a wound, I take it. You
Yeah,
can
that's a wound.
Mark so that your opponent can see how many wounds are on a character. Okay. And then I see these small cards. What are these?
So these would be for a morale test. So you'll see here, there's a kind of swirl there on the roll.
Yeah.
So that would be panic. So when people become panicked, as an attacker, you can force them to take a morale test, at which point you would draw cards. Depending on how much panic there is, you could play one of the cards against your opponent.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of seems to be pretty much all the rules that are encased in this. So again, it's not a lot. And I think that anybody that is a fan of Fantasy Flight games is obviously going to be a fan of this because, one, the miniatures look freaking amazing. Two, it's familiar. Absolutely a familiar game, so it isn't going to take a lot to learn new rules. Granted, I think this is probably a new mechanic than some of the other games that you guys produce. And I also saw this dial. Is this for turn basing?
Yep. So whoever is first player for that turn would have the dial, and
Okay.
then it'll pass as you go up the rounds.
Okay.
Um,
Very
Yeah.
cool. All right. And it takes about how long for this to play through? You'd say the average game time.
I think like maybe an hour and a half.
It's not bad. 90
Yeah.
minutes. That's a good chunk to play a game in. If you guys want to learn more about Rune Wars by Fantasy Flight, you can go, if you didn't already pick one up, the issue 203, it's on the cover of Game Trade Magazine. You can pick that up and you can get a lot of information on there. But this month, Game Trade Magazine, issue 206, there is a decent-sized article in here on Rune Wars. So you can go in there and you can get all the information you'd want about the game. It releases April 13th. It'll be available in your local friendly game store, which is like 2 weeks away.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's just around the corner. So make sure you guys save up your monies to go out there and pick it up and make it a part of your collection. So there you guys have it. I'm your host, Big Rick, here at Game Trade Media. We'd like to thank Brendan and Gwen for coming in from Fantasy Flight Games to show us Rune Wars. And again, it drops April 13th, so make sure you guys get your hands on that. And we'll see you guys next time.